stream going.
Are we ready, Eric?
You should be good to go, Teresa.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Newington Economic Development Commission meeting for Wednesday, September 6th, 7 p.m. Could we all stand who can for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands, one nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Noreen, could you do the roll call, please?
Chairman Abey,
Here,
Commissioner Beatrice.
she's excused.
Okay. Commissioner Havens,
Here.
Commissioner Nagel, Commissioner Stam,
Here.
Commissioner M. Lindsay, Commissioner Paul Lindsay.
Here.
And Marissa's Marissa's here too.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yes.
You're all set then.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting from August 2nd, 2023?
So moved. I make a motion, sorry, to
Could I have
approve the minutes.
A second?
Second. Got to get it.
Okay, Chip, Stam, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is, I would like to welcome our new town manager, Tom Hutka. He is going to talk about his vision for Newington. Thank you very much, Mr. Hutka, for rearranging your schedule and finding time for us this evening. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much for the invite. It's nice to sort of kind of meet you all. I look forward to meeting you in person. When you're downtown, please stop by and say hi, or if you're out and about and you recognize me and not me, you, because I'm new and I'm meeting so many people, but I look forward to meeting you all in person as well. I can share some ideas. I need to qualify them first by saying, under our form of government, under the town's charter, council sets policy. I bring them a lot of recommendations, bring them a lot of ideas, have experience in a number of different areas in local government, including economic development, and some good successes, which I'd be proud to share, proud to brag about. So with that qualification, some ideas, what I see as someone new to Newington, we have great opportunities for infill. Coming out of first the Great Recession and then the pandemic, we do have some empty commercial properties and of course some empty industrial properties. So there's great opportunities for infill. The easiest, most efficient is when businesses use existing space and make it work. But then, in today's world, a lot of times, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, it just doesn't fit older concepts or older buildings, or sometimes the buildings are just too old to renovate. So we look for properties for private developers to tear down and rebuild. There are great opportunities, particularly downtown and particularly on the Berlin Turnpike, to tie together, to take opportunities, to take some growth and the opportunities to provide to tie together existing properties. As you drive down the Berlin Turnpike, and it's true with most commercial areas like that, you kind of go from driveway to entrance to crossroad to big box to strip mall, and you always look. And we have a wonderful, fairly new town planner, and we have a brand new town engineer who can help with some of those concepts as much as we can steer private development, but to tie things together. Now, certainly downtown, when you walk around, there's different sections of downtown for different eras of development, and it would be wonderful if we could have take advantage of growth in the downtown area to help tie it together so that people can visit all of downtown in one trip, so it's more cohesive. That's what I see, and that comes from background with some experience in economic development and in planning, and then also visiting a lot of towns across the country, across the world. The thing that strikes me, and this is, you know, if you can answer this, you could be a billionaire. What's the next big thing? You know, for years, and I'm looking across everyone's picture here, I dare say in our lifetime, malls were the big thing. Malls, I've been around long enough to watch malls develop as the big thing. I grew up in a small town in upstate New York where we never got a mall, but we got our first shopping center with a attached plaza, and that was huge, and it was big, and we had made we were modern now. And then malls, after shopping plazas, malls, that was huge if your town got a mall. And then as you know, not so much anymore. Lifestyle centers, that was a big thing. Everybody was flocking to lifestyle centers. And again, after the Great Recession and the pandemic, I took the time a couple weekends ago to go visit Blueback, and there are some empty storefronts, and it's not as bustling as I imagine it was, say, 10 years ago. And so the question is, and it's completely, well, it's not rhetoric, but I don't have the answer to it. What's the next big thing in commercial, and similarly in residential and even industrial? What should we be aiming for? What type of developers and investors should we be trying to attract to Newington? I think part of the answer, is here we are tonight, all meeting over Zoom. The futurists say that people will be working more from their home. Luxury rentals are big for residential now. Condos, not so much. Single family homes, a lot of the younger generations can't afford them, would probably like to have them, can't afford them. So a lot of it, you can see a little bit into the future. Luxury high-end rentals are a big thing, and large enough units where you could raise a family. But more and more, and this is maybe we're already here, more and more people are working from home. I think it was about 2 months ago, the New York Times did a study about downtown areas that were thriving a few years ago and are not now. And part of it was the pandemic, but it was the plateau that was hit after the pandemic, where people just aren't living, working, and playing downtown anymore. But what really captured my attention is they had 6 example cities that they went into depth on. And one of the cities was Hartford. And if you look it up, I'm sure you can find it if you do the right search. But one of the 6 example cities that they did was Hartford. And they said, with things like white collar businesses like the insurance industry, people aren't looking to work downtown anymore. Therefore, they're not frequenting the shops and the restaurants downtown anymore because they're working from home. And they don't have to be near the office or to commute. So I think a lot of it, I think we'll see more of a trend towards mixed use, commercial, and particularly commercial and residential together, and entertainment together. Maybe industrial as well, where people will at least be near what they want, where they want to be. Maybe not near the office, but near places where they can bring their families for fun and entertainment, shopping, restaurants, and the like. So I'm not a futurist. I'm certainly not a fortune teller, but we need to keep our eye on what are the next big things. Because one of the goals, I dare say, for any community is you want to have the right balance in the economy. You want to have enough people coming in from the outside to leave their money to support commercial properties, entertainment businesses, but maybe not live here. But in a way so that we don't get more traffic jams, we don't get a negative impact on our community. So look for the right balance in that, and that leads us back to mixed use also. The goals, and I'll leave with this thought: overall goals and adding it all together. And what's probably best for the community is to continually increase our tax base, which we do in 2 ways. Both of them desirable is more new construction, particularly infill and replacement of existing properties, undervalued properties or properties that are obsolete, but then also to raise all of our property values. For those of us who own businesses or homes, you want to see the community thrive so that the value of your business and the value of your real estate increases. Certainly want to provide good jobs, particularly for our children, and provide a good profit for our businesses. So it's a thriving economic scene. We want to have pride for the community. We want to have the right type of development and the right type of growth so that we can say with great pride that we live and work in Newington. And those are just some ideas I put together. I mentioned, I warned you I would brag. I was city manager in a similarly sized city in Michigan. And we worked together. I worked with the community and worked with local businesses, the banks, with everybody, with social volunteer agencies and just everybody in town who wanted to make the community better. But at any rate, we feel they had a beautiful Victorian downtown. For the most part, both sides of the street for about 8 blocks, old brick Victorian buildings that were 60% empty. Well, within about 4 years of hard work, we filled up all of downtown storefronts. And we filled them up with really good businesses, restaurants, nightclubs, gift shops, personal service agencies. So it wasn't just a matter of getting in some like social service agencies or in that state, county departments to fill the storefront just to say we fill the storefront. We became a destination for a lot of people, and we were booking conferences and conventions. We booked the Miss Teen USA for the state, and for the 5th largest city, that was pretty good. That was a coup for us. But more and more people were taking notice, and success begets success. So we had people who we filled up our industrial park for the first time ever. But we filled up downtown, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling now, but we filled up downtown storefronts for the first time since the 1950s and completely reversed the trend for everyone building outside of downtown out in around the mall, which was outside our jurisdiction, unfortunately. So I also worked for the city of Cleveland at the beginning of their Miracle Renaissance in the early 90s. When I started with the city of Cleveland, they had like the 100 biggest movers and shakers, the 100 biggest community leaders. And I think I was like 99 on the list in my job. But I was in the corner of the room and watched the CEO of American Greeting and the CEO of BP America, and city and county and state officials. The governor was there, and former Mayor Voinovich, who was then governor, later to be senator, and all these really big, powerful people. And the president of the Chamber of Commerce, who was brand new to the area, started speaking, and he used the word tourism, and the whole room started laughing at the man. People were grabbing their sides, almost rolling on the floor, laughing for a sustained period because he used the word tourism. And I'll tell you what, within a few short years, Cleveland is now actually the tourism capital of the Midwest. It's a mecca, and people go there to go to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They go there for sports venues. They went from one entertainment district, one nightclub district, to like 6 of them around the city, and they have the largest theater district outside of Broadway, which had been the abandoned, just completely derelict vaudeville theaters. Is now the second largest theater district outside of in the U.S. outside of Broadway. So very proud of my work there, but I learned a lot of lessons that I later brought to Michigan and hope to bring here. So all that said, thank you for listening to me, Yammer. I appreciate that. But I look forward to working with all of you on these issues.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. You mentioned business and
Why don't
industry.
you introduce yourself? I'm sorry.
Oh, hi. I'm Dana Havens, one of the commissioners. And I'm sorry I couldn't find the raise your hand button on this. I need to get a bigger screen. That's what it is.
You're just like that.
Yeah. You mentioned industrial parks and whatnot. Do you happen to know what our vacancy rate is at them? And because that is something I've always wanted to grow in town. And then with the state legislature and the governor really pushing the multi-use high density housing, it seems like I just didn't hear a lot about getting those filled. I'd love to see.
Oh, Dana froze up.
Pros. You want to transition to Chip for a minute, Teresa, since he has his hand raised?
Okay,
If Dana can hear us, I certainly will come back and answer your question. We want to make sure you're back on again.
perfect. Not really a question, more of a comment that Newington has quite a culture that's established in generation and generation, that people won't move out and they stay here for year after year. And we do have a lot of programs and things, particularly our social services, our athletic stuff. And I think that should be something that should be brought up. We need some more bicycle trails and stuff like that. There was a long-range plan, and I think it was Kathy Hall, when she was on the town council, of some of the trails and stuff, of the improvements for the people working at home that could utilize more in their neighborhoods. And I just thought that should be mentioned, that there is such a thing in a document in the town. So look forward to working with you as well. More to follow.
Thank you, Chip. You know what, and thank you, because I kind of jumped right over thing. With economic development, we always look at increasing or look at the future. But what I jumped right over is the starting point. I'm really happy to be here. Thank our mayor and councilors for bringing me to town. This community has a great starting point with, people stay. It's a very stable community, great park system. The stores, industries that are here are very stable. And so, I tend to focus on, okay, what do we do and where do we go from that? But that's extremely important, and that's necessary to attract investors and attract businesses and attract new people to continue growing. It's what's the old analogy? It's like a shark. The shark has to keep moving, or it always has to keep moving, or it'll die. And that's true with any economy. You can't rest on your laurels. You move forward. But as far as you make me think, some people will say, well, every community I've ever visited, and I did a lot of work as a consultant too, and it got me out and around to different communities. Everybody laments, we can't keep our young people here. Nobody wants to. Well, you know what? In my experience, even in Manhattan, even in New York City, the young people don't want to stay there. And then you go to LA, you meet young people from LA, they don't want to stay there. You can go to the greatest, most thriving, fantastic community in the country. I dare say if you went to Paris, the young people don't want to stay there. They want something new. They want to go. So, it's a question of, you got to attract the other city's young people, because you probably won't keep your own. That's the way they are.
I do see Dana's back. I don't know if she's prepared to pick up mid-freeze again.
Yeah, I think she had an issue with her internet. So she texted me saying she's trying to log back on.
I see her here.
Oh,
There she is.
Hi, Dana.
Yeah, my Go net speed dropped.
It's like a commercial.
I know.
Do you want me to jump in with I don't know the percentage of industrial occupancy. I don't know if Eric does. I'll put Eric on the spot. Do we have a general?
I do not have a general number for you right now. I wouldn't want to give out a number that's completely off, but there has been a couple that we know are getting prepared to leave as well. And there's a couple of larger industrial properties for sale that I have had inquiries about. So,
I've seen also, what I see just without knowing the number is we do have a fair number of vacant properties. And I see a fair number of older facilities, older buildings in general. And this is a very general statement, but in general, the old industrial and even a lot of times the old office buildings don't lend themselves well to new companies. The technology is constantly changing where it just doesn't work. But then I had a new friend who drove me around the surrounding area, and along the way, he was pointing out all the large office buildings that are vacant, particularly north of here in West Hartford. And it was frankly, I was surprised. It was shocking to see huge office buildings that 15, 20 years ago were new and thriving, and now they're completely empty. And that's alarming. But again, it's it all comes down to working closely. And once I get my feet on the ground a little bit, is research and looking around and figuring out what's working and where the national economy is going. What is the next big thing? Where will white collar people work? What are the industry leaders looking for new facilities? And try to stay ahead of that curve and stay competitive.
When you talk about, I'm sorry, but when we talk about multi-use housing and TOD and all that, I was thinking we have a large section of industrial buildings right by Newington Junction where we have the fast track now. And it's like, gee, can we do multi-use there on top of the industrial? And then they're right by open a train station there, but we're definitely right back by the, fast track, and maybe that would be a, way to tie it in. I don't know, it just bugs me because I know we have a lot of empty buildings.
Yeah, and the good news when you think about it is, as part of a larger economy, Newington is one of many suburbs of the mother city, the larger city. We don't have to have some communities. For my examples, I worked for Cleveland, and then I worked for Port Huron, Michigan, which was it wasn't a suburb, it was off by itself, economic center onto itself, always has been. Those communities were looking for a well-rounded industry where they had to have a nice mix of housing and industry and commercial and entertainment and everything to be well-rounded. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. If we keep our eye on the tax base, we have to be well-rounded enough to be diverse for the future in our tax base. But we don't have to have a perfectly even balance of commercial and industrial, for example. So that if we have more residential than average, people who live in that residential might work in West Hartford. They might work in downtown Hartford, and that's okay. But we have to find what works for us and what works best for those spaces, especially the spaces that are, have to be rebuilt.
Thank you.
I was going to say, just as a note, like Costello Road, in the last couple of years, we've approved a couple of new site plans out there, and those have been completely built. And Costello Road is pretty much, I believe, at 90% occupancy out there, and it's built up. So also the old, the last few years, the old welding facility on Fenn Road turned over. Truss Manufacturing took that over, so they're using that right now as well. So we've made little gains, and some of the bigger industrial parks are also getting some activity as well. So
yeah, and one example that I certainly don't take credit for, I inherited from the hard work of a lot of people, but 690 Cedar Street, high-end residential units replacing a factory. And that's fine, that we take that all day long.
Thank you. Any other questions from any commissioners? And I don't see anyone as attendance. Eric, do you have anyone?
no, there's no one online as an attendee. No.
Okay. So I just want to thank you, Mr. Hutka, for taking your time out of your day this evening and speaking with us. You're welcome at any of our meetings. We can put you on the agenda whenever you'd like, or you can just let us know and we'll find time for you in our regular meetings.
Well, and thank you for the invite, Teresa. I thank you all for listening to me throw out lots of random ideas, but these are things, just a few concepts. And I look forward to working with you all on those and everything else that comes our way. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next, public participation, seeing none. We'll go on to the chamber. I don't see Leslie on. All I do know is that the 23rd is the Waterfall Festival. They have a bunch of vendors and people to draw on the sidewalk, the chalk items, and that's about it. Our next is old business, the beautification committee. My understanding, the flags will be going up. I don't have anything else. Does any of the commissioners?
I
Yes,
still
Dana.
can't find my raise a hand button. All right, speaking of flags, did you ever get the email about the proposal of to change them into like an advertising fundraising type thing?
No, I don't remember that.
All right, I'll resend it. Because it's like,
Okay.
does she just hate the idea? So it's not ending up on the agenda or,
No, no, no.
okay, I'll resend it.
Okay,
Actually, at this point, I should probably see if I can get better pricing now because it's been a couple of years. All
okay.
right, okay, thanks.
Anything else about the beautification? Okay, we'll go on to new business. Just, one item. There's a grand opening. The Evolution Wellness and Yoga Center at 122 Market Square is having their grand opening this Friday, the 8th at roughly 6:15 p.m. They are not joining the chamber, but she would like a grand opening. So I know I sent out an email to all the commissioners, and I've also sent out an email to our council. So hopefully that will be a smashing success. We do have the big scissors. So that's super, I'm super excited about that. But one of the owners, Tiffany, is a resident here in Newington, and the other owner, Jackie, just lives over the border, to my understanding, in New Britain, like couple streets into New Britain, and they are super excited to have us. So if we could all join them on Friday at 6:15. They also have a bunch of different classes that they're offering for free on Friday. So it's an opportunity for us to, hey, if you've never tried yoga, why not try it when it's not going to cost you any money? Dana, I see your hand up.
We found
Button
it.
suddenly appeared.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, look. And I have nothing to say. Just wanted to raise my hand. No, kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. I have something. Back to chamber stuff. The Newington Chamber on the 12th has that hidden business open house. Did you hear anything about that?
I think I saw an email. I totally forgot about that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is that 2315 Berlin Turnpike, whatever that is? The thing I'm looking at's not very informative.
Yeah.
But I did see somewhere, I'm trying to find it on their site, not finding it. I know they had an architect there. They had, some sort of food thing there. A lot of different aspects of business.
Okay.
I think I saw a list of like 12 businesses that were going to be there
Mm-hmm.
off the top of my head. I
Okay.
can't remember them because I'm old. All right.
Okay. Anything else for new business? I know Mary was unable to make because of a work commitment, and she at the next meeting will give us that information about that company that does free assessments. So that's something that we may want to take advantage of.
Okay.
Anything else? Back to public participation.
There is still nobody on.
Okay, any commissioners' comments? Okay,
All
seeing,
right. I just wanted to say it was really great to hear from our new town manager, and I hope we can get to see him soon. And sorry, puppy's barking at I don't know what in the background. So I will remute.
okay, yes, it was very nice of Mr. Hutka to join us. Any other commissioners' comments? Okay, seeing none, our next meeting will be Wednesday, October 4th. We're kind of on a roll here with Zoom, having enough people for a quorum, so maybe we keep it another month and revisit it next month. on what everyone would like to do. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
Second,
Second.
Whatever you need.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you guys all on Friday at Evolution Yoga. Thanks, have a good night.
Righty.
All right.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.